screenshots of those. Do you want me to still write them down today, or can I just continue to screenshot it?
No, you have to write them.
Okay.
Oh gosh, what did I just do? Hold on, sorry. I'm just gonna do my screen. Share. Okay. All right, so there's my board. I'm gonna move my camera a little bit. I can see the chat, so if you need me, one, you can always interrupt me, or two, you can write something in the chat. I check it every 3 seconds of the time here, but I just have a few quick things to do with you. It's more, I just don't really feel like sitting the whole day. So hello. Trying to make it at least glary as possible here. All right, that's gonna be as good as it's gonna get. All right, so good morning, everyone. This is a quick little quiz review or assessment or review, whatever the heck you want to call it. I'll try to write a little bit bigger. Sorry for the glare on the board, but hopefully you can still see. If there's an issue with you not being able to see, you let me know. So basically there's 4 things, and we had written them all down last week, so you should have them written down somewhere. You should be able to convert from degrees to radians, radians to degrees, do arc length, and do area of a sector. So we're just going to do one of each. So the first type of problem, and then you are going to try a few of these in a minute on your own. I'm going to say convert to radians, and I'm going to give you a degree, and my degree is going to be 130. Okay, so I'm going to grab my calculator because I can't do this stuff in my head. So I got my handy dandy calculator. If you don't have a scientific calculator, then go. There's apps, you can get one. I know a lot of people just use their phone. Sometimes it can get a little bit tricky with the reducing. So just Google scientific calculator that reduces fractions. You'll be able to find one, I can guarantee it. But do something that's going to make your life easier. So anytime you see converting to radians, so we start with a degree, we're going to a radian, we always multiply by the same fraction, and that's going to be by pi over 180. So we had written that down last week, so please make sure you do have it. And if you don't have it, write it now. So you can kind of do this a few ways. You can just reduce it right here. I like to kind of rewrite it, reminding myself that degrees cancel. I end up with 130 pi over 180. And then reminder, I'm going to reduce this, but I'm not going to use the pi because the pi gets all messy in the calculator. So I'm just going to reduce 130 over 180. I can definitely do that in my head, but I'm just checking. Yeah. It's just 13 over 18. So my final answer would be 13 over 18, but just remember to kind of keep that pi. And that would be your answer. So nothing too terrible. So just make a note to yourself. When you're converting to radians, we had written this last week, but if you need to rewrite it, go for it. You're always multiplying by pi over 180. And then once you multiply through, you're just going to make sure you can reduce. So I'll leave that up for a second because I know it takes you a minute when you're at home to get organized and write everything down. So we're a quarter of the way through. We only have 4 problems. All right. So that's the first type. There'll be a few of those. So if you can do 1, you can do 3 or 4. Same step every time. It's just the reducing will be a little different, but use your calculator to help you out. So that's the first type of problem. All right, second type of problem. Sorry, I'm just trying to give you a few seconds so you're catching up. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to convert from radians to degrees. I'm going to show you an example of why you might need that, because that might be in your, I think there might be one like that on the assessment. So let's say I'm going to word this one a little differently. I'm going to say sketch the angle. 2 pi over 3. Sorry, I'm trying to not give you the same one that I'm giving you. Okay, that's fine. 2 pi over 3. So you're probably saying what the heck do? I have no clue. Reminder, radians aren't necessarily like how our brain works. We like degrees. We can kind of visualize degrees. So if you ever see something that's in a radian, we're just going to convert this to degrees. So if you see something like sketch something, or maybe there's like what quadrant is it in, and you're saying like I have no clue where 2 pi over 3 is, always just convert it. And on the little assessment, if I want you to convert, I'll probably say sketch this angle, and then I'll just say reminder, convert to degrees. So just little things like that. I'll try to give you a little heads up. But to convert, take 2 pi over 3. We're going to multiply. It's the same fraction, but you have to flip it. So it's 180 over pi. Okay. So know that fraction, have it written somewhere, have like a little cheat sheet for you, so you can refer to it because you can always use your notes. So what's going to happen is my pi's cancel, which is delightful. I grab my calculator, and I'm just going to go straight across. 2 times 180 is 360. There's just a 3 in the denominator, right? So 360 over 3 would be 120 degrees. So remember, that's not my final answer. That's just my converting. And this one, it asked me to sketch it. I can do that. We've sketched a million times this year. Start on our initial side. Each quadrant is 90. So 90 would be here. 120 we'll say is about right there. Or if I said something like, what quadrant was it in? You might have to kind of sketch it first, and you would say quadrant 2. But just little things like that. It's really a converting problem, but maybe there's just like one little extra step that it's asking you to do. So that was kind of that one. So just as a heads up, I will once again leave that up for a second in case you're writing it, but you should be writing it. It's like, it's been proven that when you write something down, it makes it easier to remember. And even if it doesn't make it easier to remember, it makes it easier to look back at, so you can just do a problem similar to it. So just as a heads up there. So I'll give you about 10 more seconds with that one. Have my chat if you ever need me to throw anything in the chat that you need. So then the last 2 things that we were doing is we had some formulas. So there were 2 formulas. One was for arc length. So that's when we're talking like kind of about a circle. You're taking a piece of it. You're trying to find the length of the curved piece. And then the area of a sector is like if you take a piece of pie, finding the area. So we have the 2 equations. We'll rewrite them, but they should be in your notes. And then it's really just plugging in. So we'll just remind ourselves what we need to plug into them and go from there. So halfway through, we only have 2 more probs together. Okay, so arc length. Boop. It's the equation S equals R theta, so make sure you have that written somewhere, where S represents arc length. Once again, I don't know where the S comes from, but yeah, you got the idea. R is radius, and theta is angle, and the big thing, and I write it every time, is theta needs to be in radians. So let's say I gave you this information. R equals 5 centimeters, and theta equals 28 degrees. You would say to yourself, oh, I'm just plugging in. I have R and theta, so that's nice. The big thing is always just look, is your theta in the correct measurement? In this case, it does need to be in radians, but it's in degrees. So the first thing I'm going to do is convert this to radians. So yeah, that's why we start with the converting, because it's something that you kind of just do for a lot of problems. And we know the process because we just went over it and you have it written down somewhere, hopefully. You take your degree, you're going to multiply it by pi over 180. My degrees cancel. I grab my calculator. Sorry, I keep putting it down. I should just keep it with me. Because I end up with 28 pi over 180, and I'm going to reduce that. Right, the 28 over 180. And then, oh my gosh, what did I just put in my calculator? There we go, Mrs. Sherman. And that gives me 7 pi over 45. So remember, I'm not done. I just found what theta was. Now I can plug it in. And the plugging in is pretty easy. You literally just put it in and put it in your calculator. So S equals R, which is 5, times theta, which we want in radians, which is 7 pi over 45. And then you're just throwing that in your calculator. For our final answer for these, I will tell you, just give me the answer as a decimal. We'll round to 2 decimal places. So in this case, we are going to put the pi symbol in our calculator to round it for us. So I'm going to do 5 times 7, I find my pi button, over 45. Please make sure whatever you're using, you actually try and know that you know how to use it, because it's not very easy to give calculator tutorials during an assessment. So it comes out to 2.44, and that would be in centimeters. Boop. So basically, you're plugging into a formula. We did have one extra step because the theta had to be in radians, where we had to convert it. But then once you plugged it in, it's just a calculator problem. So I will leave that one up for a second, and then we just have one more to go over. And I literally feel like I'm going crazy. I'm just talking to a computer camera thing. What a weird way to teach. All right, so arc length was the third thing. So converting back and forth, arc length, and the last one is area of a sector. Once again, if you're like, I'm not going to remember this, you don't have to remember it. That's why you take notes. Because let's be honest, who is just going to need this stuff? Besides a trig teacher, not a lot of people. So that's why I allow you to use all of your notes anyways. You're at home. So there's no reason you can't kind of have everything with you. But yes, this is not easy math to put into photo math. So if you were a photo math aficionado in Algebra 2, that was great, but trig isn't as easy. So please make sure you have these written down. Area of a sector, A equals 1/2 R squared theta. Okay, so that's not bad. Once again, a quick little formula, we're gonna plug into it. I'm gonna give some information, I'm gonna plug it in. Let's say R equals 15 inches and theta equals 5 pi over 8. Now this one, I'm sorry, and I should mention over here, theta has to be in radians. Hence it's why it's in the radian chapter. Okay. In this case, we're kind of good. So sometimes you're just given the information, you're like, dude, that's all I need. I'm just gonna plug it in. Radius is good. It's just a measurement, whatever it's in. But theta has to be in radians, which it is. I know this is a radian because there's no degree symbol. So if there's a degree symbol, you have to convert it. If there's no degree symbol, you good. So we literally just have to plug in. Okay, that's not too bad. Sometimes you might have to convert, so just pay attention. So we have 1/2. We have R squared, so that's going to be 15 squared. And then for theta, we're just plugging in 5 pi over 8. So literally, I'm just doing this right from the calculator. So I grab mine. Once again, I keep putting it down. So let me I'm going to put it in. I'm just going to show you what it looks like in mine. So for 1/2, I just write 0.5. And then I do 15 squared. And then I do 5 pi over 8. So once again, I'm backwards. So see, you can see my pi symbol in there. So please make sure you find that on your calculator. It should round it to 3.141592653, whatever. And it will do it for you. But find the pi symbol. And for some of your calculators, it automatically puts it in pi. Make sure you know that calculator or the button that turns it into a decimal. And A is going to come out to about 220.89. We're going to round to 2 decimal places. And when you are labeling area, it's your measurement squared. So that would be inches squared. Okay. Whew. So those are the ones I wanted to do because let's be honest, I was out a good amount of last week / the week before. I saw you guys Friday, but then we had a long weekend. So we're a big fat mess here, but we are going to do our best on an assessment on Thursday just to show what we've been doing. Just for basic things, yeah. Converting to radians, converting to degrees, arc length, area of a sector. So I'm gonna go back to my desk, flip off the screen here, or flip off that screen. I'm gonna stop presenting. Hello again. So you have some notes. We took some in class, in regular class. We took some on Friday. We took some today. So you should have something. So I'll see you again tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll just do something, kind of quick and not too crazy. But then Thursday you are having a little assessment. I will remind you the term ends. I have to look at my calendar here. How is it already January 19th? Yes. The term ends 2 weeks from today. So please look at those grades and see how you're doing. Some of you are just like taking a few weeks off. Like you're like, you extended the Christmas break, just weren't in the mood. I don't know what's going on. If you have something that's going on, let me know. I'll help you out. But if you're just not doing stuff, there's not a lot I can do for you, unfortunately. So please keep up with what you need. So what's going to happen is right now you're going to try a few problems because I need to stay on with you the whole period. So if that doesn't take the whole period, that's okay. It'll probably take you about, 5 or 6 minutes. It's not really crazy. So sorry. I'm just putting this up. Let me reshare my screen. Oh my gosh, I'm so confused. I have like way too many things going on right now. Actually, I'll just go into Google Classroom because I posted it there. So right now, oh my God. Okay, sorry. I didn't think it just posted, I think. I don't know what's happening with life here. So let me go to my Google Classroom. So as of right now, I just did this morning, but A and B both have this. And it's called Quiz Review. So you're going to open it, and I will kind of just keep it on my screen. So just as a reminder, I'm calling it a quiz, assessment, whatever you want to call it. We are having a little quiz on Thursday. On Thursday, you're going to be converting from radians to degrees and degrees to radians. You're going to be finding the arc length, and you're going to be finding the area of a sector. So right now, you are going to try these few problems. So this is kind of your wrap up for today. So here is how today is going to work. You are going to do these problems on a piece of paper. Can you just do them with your notes? So just kind of continue them on your notes. Just like write a little review. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see 3 and 4 have an A and a B. So, tailbutt. And you're going to do that. Once you have submitted it, so you are going to scan it. You are going to turn it in. Once you have submitted it, oops, let me do that. You can sign off. So what I'm going to ask you to do, so listen carefully. I will keep the problems up as well, but you can have them in front of you. When you are done, you are going to go back to your Meet. You are going to click here and send a message, and you are going to hit submitted. Once you have hit that and it is actually submitted, you may sign off. Okay, so not until you have turned it in Google Classroom. Once it's turned in, you're good. I will be putting up the answers to these, so then you can check them when you are good. But this is also a good time if you have any questions to ask. So for the next few minutes, I'm just going to be kind of chilling here. Feel free to ask anything. I know a few people emailed me over the weekend. I will get to all my emails during my prep. So if there was something specific you asked of me, I will email you back. It just takes me a few minutes because I'm going to be honest. I quickly looked at them this weekend, but I didn't have time to respond. So right now, you're in Google Classroom. You're looking at this quiz review, which I will also leave up. So those are the problems you're doing. Once you have turned them in Google Classroom, you're going to hit just write submitted in the chat, and then you may sign off for the day. I will be on till the end of the period, so we still have half an hour left technically. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Other than that, I'm just gonna do my answer key to this right now so I can get that to you when you are done, and that's that. So you're working on that now. If you have any questions, let me know, and that's it. I'm gonna mute myself just so if I make any weird noises, you don't hear me. But if you need me, feel free. I really should listen to myself. Hey, what's up? Someone just talked to me, or am I going crazy? You're calling me here if you still need me.
How to
Which one? I can only hear, I only heard a second. I only heard you say, how do I do? I didn't hear the rest. All right, whoever's talking, write it in the chat, because I don't know what's going on with your speaker here.